Sheng Shao You couldn't believe what he had just learned. The world around him felt heavier, as if every sound, every movement, every breath carried a weight that pressed him into the floor. His mind spun, trying to process the impossible. Hua Yong was not an alpha. He was not an omega. Then what was he? Everything Sheng thought he knew was a lie. Everything he had built his trust, his love, and his very understanding of their connection on had been false. And now the truth had shattered his world completely. He remembered the morning when it all started to fall apart. The moment he realized he was pregnant, carrying life inside him, a life that should have been impossible between two alphas. Panic had taken over first, his heartbeat thundering in his ears as he replayed every memory, every moment he had shared with Hua Yong. Something didn't add up. He thought about the nights of closeness, the times he had let his guard down, the times he had trusted Hua Yong with his body and his heart. How could this be happening? How could Hua Yong, who Sheng had believed to be an alpha like him, be the source of this impossible truth? Hua Yong had always been enigmatic, but Sheng had believed he understood him, at least a little. The way Hua Yong moved, spoke, even looked at him had always carried a quiet power, a presence that was almost magnetic. Sheng had thought this was just the natural dominance of an alpha, the reason he had felt safe and helpless in Hua Yong's presence. But now, with this revelation, every touch, every whispered word, every intimate moment felt like a puzzle he had been trying to solve blindly. What was Hua Yong? What kind of being could change the rules so completely? Fear, confusion, and longing all collided in Sheng's chest. His mind replayed the moments of manipulation, the small lies, the subtle ways Hua Yong had always guided him without his realizing it. The letter he had found, the one that said Hua Yong had gone to Shen Wenling to save Sheng's father's life, suddenly seemed heavier, darker, more calculated than ever before. It wasn't just love, it wasn't just passion. It was a plan, a series of moves that Sheng had been unknowingly trapped in for years. And now, even that plan had consequences Sheng had never imagined, a child growing inside him. The pregnancy made every thought sharper, every feeling more urgent. Sheng could feel the life inside him, the tiny heartbeat that reminded him of the connection he had with Hua Yong, even if that connection was based on lies. He placed a hand on his stomach, trembling, as he whispered, "What? What are you, Hua Yong?" His voice was barely audible. But the question had been screamed in his mind over and over. How could he carry this life, feel this bond, and still be uncertain of the man he had given everything to? Hua Yong entered the room silently, as always, his presence commanding without a single word. Sheng looked up at him, his eyes wide, his breath shaky. Hua Yong's expression was calm, unreadable, the mask of control he always wore never slipping. But Sheng could see it now, the power that had always seemed natural, the confidence that had made Sheng feel both safe and challenged. It wasn't simple dominance. It wasn't just alpha or omega hierarchy, it was something beyond. Something that Sheng had never been able to define until now. "Sheng," Hua Yong said softly, his voice cutting through the storm of Sheng's thoughts. "You're overthinking it. You're scared." I don't understand," Sheng choked out. I'm pregnant. And you're not an alpha. You're not an omega. Then, what are you? How is this possible?" His hands trembled as he gestured helplessly, the frustration and fear spilling out. Hua Yong's lips curved into a small, almost imperceptible smile. "I told you once long ago that the world isn't as simple as you think. I am beyond what you know. That's why you are yours, and you are mine. You are my exclusive omega. The bond doesn't need labels. It only needs us." Sheng shook his head, backing away slightly. "No, that's not enough. I need to understand. If you're not alpha or omega, then what does that make me? What does this child mean?" His voice was cracking, a mixture of fear, anger, and desire for clarity. Hua Yong approached slowly, his gaze intense but steady. "You are mine, Sheng. The child is ours, not bound by rules that you think exist. You feel fear because you've been raised to follow those rules, to believe that only certain things are possible. But love, our bond, it transcends labels. It always has. Sheng's mind reeled. Every lesson he had been taught about hierarchy, dominance, and identity in the ABO world suddenly seemed irrelevant. His body ached with need, with longing, with the desperation of wanting both answers and the closeness he craved. He wanted to push Hua Yong away, to demand the truth, and yet he was drawn to him irresistibly, as if some force stronger than reason tied them together. Then, you lied to me. Sheng's voice trembled with a mix of accusation and hurt. All this time, everything, it was a lie? Hua Yong tilted his head slightly, studying him. I never lied about what mattered most. I never lied about us. About you being mine. The rest is irrelevant to the bond we share. Labels cannot define what we are, Sheng. Only you and I can do that. Tears welled in Sheng's eyes. The betrayal stung, but beneath it was a deeper, more complicated emotion. Love, desire, and an unbreakable connection that he could neither escape nor deny. He touched his stomach again, feeling the small, undeniable presence of life that tied him irrevocably to Hua Yong. This child, it's yours? Hua Yong's hand gently covered Sheng's, the touch firm, possessive, and strangely comforting. It is, and it always will be. Nothing in this world can change that. Not labels, not lies, not anyone else. You are mine. Always. Sheng sank to his knees, overwhelmed by a mixture of relief, fear, and desire. The truth of Hua Yong's identity, the impossibility of their situation, and the undeniable bond between them pressed down on him in waves. He wanted answers, yes, but he also wanted Hua Yong, wanted to feel the connection, the dominance, the intimacy that had always defined their relationship. I don't understand any of this, Sheng whispered, his forehead resting against Hua Yong's chest. But I can't resist you. I'm yours. Hua Yong's arms wrapped around him fully, holding him close, grounding him in a way that no words could. Good. You never needed to understand everything. You only needed to trust, to feel, to accept. You are mine, Sheng, and you always will be. The child, the bond. Nothing can change that. Hours passed as Sheng lay against Hua Yong, trembling with emotion, with desire, and with the weight of the revelations he was processing. Hua Yong's presence was constant, steady, overwhelming, and comforting all at once. He whispered reassurances, dominance, and quiet promises that calmed the storm inside Sheng's mind, even as questions lingered in the background. Sheng's pregnancy made every moment more intense, more urgent. His body responded to Hua Yong's touch, the bond pulling him toward submission even as his mind screamed for answers. It was confusing, overwhelming, and completely consuming. He wanted clarity, yet he craved Hua Yong more than he feared the unknown. By nightfall, Sheng had accepted, at least partially, that Hua Yong's nature was beyond comprehension. He didn't need to know everything. What mattered was that Hua Yong was there, that the child growing inside him was theirs, and that their bond was unbreakable. The labels, the lies, the confusion, they mattered less than the intimacy, the possession, and the love that connected them. As they rested together, Sheng whispered again, softer this time, almost a prayer, almost a surrender. I don't understand, but I trust you. I am yours, and our child is yours. Just don't let me go. Hua Yong held him tighter, pressing a kiss to his forehead. Never. You will never be alone. You are mine, Sheng. Always mine. The night stretched on, filled with quiet whispers, intimate touches, and the undeniable presence of their bond. Every heartbeat, every breath, every shiver of desire reminded Sheng that labels did not matter. What mattered was the love, the control, the surrender, and the undeniable, unbreakable connection that tied him and Hua Yong together, now and forever. Sheng lifted his head slightly, his eyes searching Hua Yong's, trying to find something, an explanation, a reassurance, a glimpse of the man he had trusted and loved for so long. His hands trembled as they hovered over Hua Yong's chest, unsure whether to push away or pull closer. I feel everything so intensely, he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. The fear, the confusion, but also the need, the desire, the bond. It's overwhelming, Hua Yong. Hua Yong's gaze softened, the intensity replaced with a rare, almost tender warmth. He reached up to cup Sheng's cheek, guiding his trembling hands to rest over Hua Yong's heart. That's because it's real, Sheng. Every emotion, every sensation, every longing you feel, it's all part of us.